What's going on, YouTube world? Charles Etchin here, and this is a little bit of a switch up. We're going to be just talking to this guy, BrunsNick. Man, you got my guy Jason Maryland, Nick Smith, for everybody. This is one of the OGs of the YouTube. You know, really, like when you think about it, and you go back and look at the channel, you can go and see those videos.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
I think I got notoriety back in like 06 when I made the How to Bowl 900 video.
Okay.
That was like the original of like just the post about bowling that kind of took off back then. Like over 100,000 views, unheard of. You know, I don't even think Beyonce was getting 100,000. Maybe she was. I didn't check. But I didn't really pay attention to YouTube that much. I just threw that one up there just because it had been popular on the website.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I got my start way back when. Like did ball reviews before ball review videos were even a thing. You know, and that's how I got on staff.
Man, and we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into that. But my first question is, and shout out to the sponsor. Sorry about that. Cool Wick. Shout out to you guys. Joe Grips. Appreciate everything you guys do for me. Bowler's Mark as well. And again, man, the great company BrunsNick has been working with me very, very closely. And some of that has to do with this guy right here. So again, some of that much appreciated. But how did you get the name BrunsNick? Like, we got to get to the bottom of this. Like, some of it, yes, is given, but I got to hear from the horse.
Yeah. How did it come about? I think I was at the Mini Eliminator one year. It was probably 05, 06.
Okay.
And one of the bowlers that come in, he's actually, you probably know him well, Tyson Brannigan.
Tyson?
He's like, hey, you should create a website called BrunsNick. And I was like, it's a good idea. And I don't know if that, I know he gave me the idea for the website, and I ended up getting the website and all that, but I don't know
Is the website still up?
Yeah, it still works.
It still works?
You look at my arsenal, it's like gold rhinos and guru mighties and stuff. It's still there. Yeah, right?
Look, I like that.
Yeah, right? So, yeah, the website's still up. I mean, I don't update it. It's just there because I got to pay my fee every year and my email still works. So
That's all I'm going to say. Like, man, you're still paying the fees to keep the website operational.
I gotta have that email working for me.
Nostalgic.
Yeah, SEO. He's doing it for the SEO for the YouTube channel. Like, I don't know that. If you know what SEO is, you know.
I'm gonna get like 10 more clicks on the website.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Talk that talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna see all the great content that's still up there.
Hey, man. Awesome. So, we kind of talked about you getting into it, like, just kind of haphazardly. Like, I posted a video, and it just went crazy.
Yeah.
So, what kind of made you kind of get back into it? Because you took a little hiatus from it all, and then you got back, and man, you doing some crazy stuff now. You doing some crazy stuff now.
You know, honestly, I woke up one day and I just said,
Chose violence.
I chose violence. Yeah, I said, like, you know, there's not a lot of Brunswick content out there. You're one of the few that are doing them, you know, and so I saw an opportunity, like, you know what, I'm gonna do my own thing. It's like, it's been a long time since I've done ball videos. You know, I tried doing vlogs a while back, like in 18. I was like, oh, maybe people will be interested in day-to-day stuff and just kind of random adventures, and I was wrong. Nobody liked that at all. So those videos are still on my channel. If you don't want to watch them, I appreciate it. So, you know, I tried that, and I did a few reviews in there. They did okay, but I was like, yeah, I was more interested in just having fun. But honestly, I just thought, hey, I know what I'm doing. I do all this stuff. Obviously, I do it in my spare time. I film on Sundays, edit at night and stuff. So,
the second job. Like, this is
the second job. You're right.
People don't realize, like, the effort. Then Jason, man, go ahead and chime in.
You said the second job, right? So now I'm not going to segue it, but there was a point in time where his job was in question in his videos. Some of the commenters or spectators didn't know, or they were saying
they didn't get it.
They didn't get that he was filming in a Brunswick facility. You know, I mean, this is where all the magic happens, and somehow, some way, it didn't come across that. Why else would this guy have this access? But at the end of the day, BrunsNick, you did a video a while back where, I don't know if you like dressed up like a fighter or a ninja or something, but like the form to the line was crazy, bonkers, and the release was even worse. Yeah. But then the end shot showed the ball ripping the rack. Now, I don't know which video that was. I can't find it. Send it to me if you can. But I want to see another one of those.
That was the Traditionalist Worst Nightmare video. That was back when I believe Ryan Voss and Bell Mulber kind of added at each other. And the Traditionalist versus, you know, the new Foreman Mullen.
Yeah.
And so I thought, hey, let me just put every single accessory I can find in the building on.
Oh my God.
I put the kinesiology tape on top of my pants. You know, I put tape there and yeah.
You gotta see that video.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen it. And that's, you know, when you talk about finding your own lane, and you know, you really like double down on that almost.
Yeah.
Like, you know, anything that you can think of, man. And I feel like it's working. You like, and then it kind of funnels people back into all the other educational material on top of it. Like,
yeah, the current events, like anything that goes on current, I'm gonna jump on. You know, just like with this last thing, layouts don't matter. It's like, how could I not? It's like when you say something preposterous like layouts don't matter, it's like, okay, let's do something about that because they absolutely do matter. So, you know, put out the video, it's out there. But current events, so like that whole thing with Bell and Voss, I'm gonna jump on that. Anything else that comes up, this whole Euro thing not being legal stuff with the PBA, all over that.
Yep.
So we're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep jumping on those trends.
Yeah, why not?
Like the lefties this week. I wish I had something to do with lefties. And you know, like there's a lot of content that can be had from that. Like, you know, having the lefties having the net and just making a video where something's just completely unfair for righties, where it's like they're bowling on, you know, like they got speed bumps and like everything on the right lane, the left lane's got like a funnel that just basically goes to the pocket.
The right lane looks like the Peterson.
It just blocks that side.
That's wide open.
If the PBA did the Peterson this week, just this week.
that would be nuts.
Yeah. But yeah, they've been getting beat up all year, and it's finally good to see we're gonna see some lefties on the show.
Yeah, man. And that is it's gonna be an interesting week in PBA. A lot of shows, a lot of people. That's gonna be a lot of first timers too. Mm-hmm. And what's my man name? Alec Keplinger.
Every time I put his name out there for social videos, I have to double check it 3 times. Because I was like, Keplinger, Kelpling? No. And then it's like, okay, I got the last name right. Is it Alec or Alex? Crap. And I got to start all over again. So it's a tough name.
He throws the ball really, really well.
Sure.
Like, he's a Wichita guy, I believe.
I'm not sure.
I think he was a
We
Wichita
just signed
guy.
him this year. He's brand new Hammer Sample this year.
And man,
We signed some good people this year. And they're showing up on TV right now.
man, Nate Stubler is showing up,
The one, yeah.
and he's having an impact. And you
Justin
know, on the
Knowles.
left side, Justin Knowles has been.
Good year last year. He's
Man.
killing it. I don't know if he's leading the World Series for World Championship right now, but he's just more phenomenal. You know, it's not just this week either. His last year was really good.
It's real great. So, man, what's the most difficult part for you as far as making these videos for YouTube? Like, I just gotta ask that. Like, I kind of know what mine are.
Yeah, it's set up and tear down. I work alone, so I gotta usually pack the stuff in the room that we keep it all in, because we're usually set up for a different shot.
Okay.
Put in, you know, pack up all the bowling balls that I want to do. Get it into this room. You've seen how long of a walk it is, so across the whole building.
Man,
Yeah.
if y'all could see the lifts to get to this spot.
Yeah. So and then once you get set up, then you actually have to like film the videos, which is the easiest part for the most part. Once I get the cameras rolling, it's just like clockwork.
For this guy. Right? for this guy. Again, you've seen the videos, and if you haven't, go to BrunsNick, you know, on YouTube. Go check all the stuff out. Hit that like, subscribe button. Gotta throw that in there. Again, he's just go check it out, man. You're gonna learn anything.
Very minimal editing on the reviews. People say, "Hey, you never miss." I'm like, I do miss sometimes, and when I do miss, they're in there. So, yeah, that's the easiest part for me. Is just going through and throwing the shots and talking about them. You know, kind of how to get the gap.
Hey, man, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
And a
It's
curse.
a blessing and a curse. That part. So the question that everybody really wants to know
Yeah.
is, what's your favorite bowl?
Right now or all time?
So we do 2 parts.
Yeah, both.
2 parts. Yeah, we want to hear both. We want to hear part. So start with this calendar year. I'll say this calendar year.
Calendar year. I mean,
If you can remember from the last time.
not that old, but Hammer effect right now. I mean, I called it early, best ball of 2024. As soon as you throw that ball, you're just like, wow. And I think the market is accepting that ball as one of the greats. You know, it's always been Black Widow, Black Widow, Black Widow. Now it's like effect. So right now, that's number one in 2024. All-time great. I mean, there's kind of a theme. Purple bowling balls over the years, and going back 20, 30 years. Zone Classic, one of my all-time favorites. Yes. Purple Hammer. The news when we got the acquisition of it, when we knew we were going to have Hammer brand, we're going to have Purple Hammer, was like, yes, because I love urethane. I love throwing urethane. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Not this guy.
Not this guy yet.
Oh, we're working on it. I don't know the order which all the stuff's going to come out, but if you haven't seen it, there's going to be some footage of him getting me right for all these short patterns. I didn't think about some of the things that he was kind of telling me. So it was very enlightening. So again, check that out. But man. Okay. So the purple balls.
Again, Classic, that was all time one of the GOATs. Red Zone, that whole era with that same board.
Red pen or black pen?
Oh, the black pen. The green logo up top, the elliptical. Yeah, because the red ones, I don't know if anybody knows, was actually an error when they were making them. They didn't know they had an issue at first with the covers coming in a little too hard, like the mix was off or whatever. And so the balls weren't cooking, they weren't absorbing oil, they weren't cooking. So when they realized that they had an issue, then they made all those red pins. You know, they changed them to red so that people distinguish them, and they put them out in the market, and they had a purpose. But for those first few that we got, that we didn't know that had an issue, they didn't hook. They weren't anything like the original. So, the green pin was the all-time, called green, black, whatever, the green elliptical is what I go off of there.
Before my time, I have no idea what these guys are talking about.
I asked because I had both of them. And I had one that I could not mess with, and I had one I couldn't get nothing with. And then the thing of, it's the pen. You know, if you got one with this pen, you know, don't get it. Stay away from the red one, whichever one, you know, the folks were saying. Right. And at that time, I wasn't into the details enough to really care. It was just, okay, let me not buy that one, you know. But as time went on, it was like, well, what happened, you know, with that? And, you know, I had some of the backstory, and then with you kind of filling in some of the gray areas, you know, that I definitely didn't know. It's like, you know what? Like that explains a lot, because you had a lot of people in the area, in the Michigan area, that love that ball. Mm-hmm. They went out and bought a second one or a third one because they just had swept lead with it. And then that new one, you know, $5.99.
Yeah. It's kind of like the same effect of going like for the Purple Hammer, which is, you know, 74 hardness, to the Black Hammer, which is 78. How much difference there is between the two. Cores are the same, covers just a little bit harder, same kind of formulation, but how much different the black one is compared to purple. It's like night and day, and that's what you saw with that one.
Hey, so which additives did you put in that one, like specifically, like from a chemical standpoint? That'd be very helpful to, I think, everybody around.
Hey, if I knew, I mean, you know, if I knew, I could probably help you, but I'm not a chemist. I just play one on TV. I play one on the podcast. We talk about chemistry all the time.
Yeah, man.
Like we're back there pouring balls or something.
Hey, Phil invented that. Phil invented
everything.
Yeah, you know, the chemistry.
You know,
right?
he didn't. You know what he didn't invent though? Bowling bingo.
Oh, hey, I'm commenting on the podcast. I'm going to comment.
Bingo! Man, it felt good.
I can't wait to see this laminated sheet with the signature on it.
Yeah. I'm going to laminate it just like the door signs.
Okay. So what's the fun part about working at Brunswick? Again, we kind of alluded to that. Yeah. If you still didn't get what we were saying early in the video, you kind of just missed the boat here. But what is one of the fun parts, man?
Well, I run the social media pages for all of our brands. So they basically pay me to be on Facebook and social media all day. How awesome is that?
True. True.
You know, there's.
But did it start that way though?
No. So I originally started in 2010 as a sales rep. I was a West Coast sales rep in the Northwest, and after 5 years, they asked me to come to Muskegon move here and basically do the same thing, which would be like do the sales rep thing, but also help with social media and product development and stuff like that. And then after a short while, they're like, you want to just do social media like full time? And we're like, sure. And then Kevin DeBron took my Northwest spot, and I just focused on social, and we did videos and content for back then just 3 brands.
Right.
Now we have 7. Well, technically, 7 ball brands. We have more brands. Ultimate, Robbie's, and stuff. Powerhouse.
Gotcha. Man, that's a lot. That's a lot. Because a lot of people will just assume you just walked in, you're a social media guy. I'm like, when he started with Brunswick, this wasn't as big of a thing as it has become as like a real, marketing tool, right? Like, I feel like it's evolved, and that's where even I got my foothold in the door with the bowling shops, right? Shout out to Dino Castillo, Joe Finley, Jeremy Briggs. Dino is an idea guy, right? He has a ton of ideas. I give that to him, up and down. So he just needs like some help sometime with some people to come in and do certain things. So I was one of those guys that was like, okay, hey, you got the new one? Hey, let's do some videos. Joe, same thing. Like, hey, you got the new rock in? Hey, let's do a couple videos. And that was kind of my door in to, again, speaking with Mike Dole for the first time, right? And meeting Tyson Brannigan. We're a different brand at the time, but meeting these reps, right, and these people in these different positions. And that's really, again, bumped into Jason Maryland, the guy sitting next to me.
It's a tough crowd out here. It's a tough crowd.
So it's just, you open those doors and then things grow into other things. So that's why I just want to make it clear, like, we didn't just start like having these YouTube channels and it just worked immediately. Like, for him, again, he did have to come out with a hit. He came out with a banger starting out. But again, this was still...
Back then, a ball video was like a 20, 30-second thing with music and just strike after strike after strike after strike. There was no talking. I didn't say a word. But back then, there was nothing. No brands were doing any videos, nothing of the sort back in like 04, 03, 05. Try to find a video from, X Factor, or try to find something from an old Inferno. You're not going to find that because it didn't exist. It's not like I invented it. I just created a new way to promote product, and that was the only way I did. And I started in Premiere Pro 2.0. I don't know what kind of editing software you do, but Premiere Pro 2.0, that's where I got my start.
So, I don't even know what Adobe Premiere is on currently, but I know it ain't that. So,
I think they just go by years.
Years now, yeah, exactly.
I think that was 05. So
okay.
Like 19 years ago.
Yeah, so I didn't even think about that at that point in time. He may have been dabbling, but...
I still have the software box probably at the house. I like to keep
the Relic.
Nothing to run it on.
Yeah, back when they actually had software and a CD and put it in a disk drive. Now you can't even get a computer with a CD-ROM.
Nah, man. You gotta just get
external.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. Jason, if you have something else, man, you can shoot that thought. But, man, how do you get on staff? We gotta talk about this and with the staffer right here too. Go ahead.
I mean, as Phil always says, you got to double in the 10th to win the U.S. Open. That's pretty much instant contract for you. But the main thing is, like we talk a lot about, it is consistency. Like if you're going to go out there and say, hey, I want to get on staff. It's like I want to do videos. I want to do all that. Just start doing them. If you do them well, you do them consistent, we're going to notice. If you start getting a following, then we're definitely going to notice, and we're going to want to associate ourselves with you, get you equipment. But I mean, having a relationship with pro shops, like you started, having a relationship with staffers in the area, that all helps because those are guys you're going to be in. If you establish good relationships, and that's all what this industry is about, is just being cool, doing the right thing, creating content consistently that people actually want to watch.
Yeah.
That's how you get on staff. Oh, and win a tournament or two,
That always helps.
Well, so when I had the Northwest, it was a little different because I had staffers, under me. And I would get asked all the time, how do I get on staff? I want to be on staff. I see so-and-so on staff. And I was like, okay, I'm like, all our staffers in the region, right? And I say, yes, absolutely, I know them. It's like, okay, are you bowling the Portland Masters this weekend? It's like, yeah. It's like, I am. It's like, okay, great. I'm like, beat my guys and we can talk. It's like, because those are the best guys in the region. Those are the best bowlers.
Prove yourself.
Beat them.
Yeah.
I'll listen.
So, and I'll ask you this, Jason. So, you've been on staff for how long again?
I think we're 12 years now. 12 years, yeah.
12. So, that within itself kind of speaks some volumes, because a lot of people either switching staffs, which again is no problem, but to stick with people through the thick and the thin, it speaks for itself.
So the saying I said to you earlier, and you just touched on it here a second ago, but I'm gonna say the first part, and then you fill in the last part. The universe rewards consistency, right? So I pretty much got on the same way that was mentioned, through pro shop affiliation, through meeting the various reps throughout that particular point of time. It went from guest to Chuck Gardner. Chuck Gardner introduced me to Rob Law. Rob Law and Dino, that's how when I got here to Texas, how that kicked off. Rob Law is the one who really just blew the doors open for me. Like that's an awesome guy. If you're watching, appreciate you, sir. I wouldn't be here without you.
Neither would I. He's the one that signed me first too.
See, Rob, man. Rob Law. That's the guy. Like what he was.
Rob Law.
He was very upfront with me. He told me immediately when I asked the same question, right? Hey, how do I get on? Can I get on?
Right.
Now at that time I had Dino also vouching for me because I was doing a lot of shouting to the heavens of the brands or Brunswick at that time in the area. So Dino let Rob Law know that I was one of those guys that he possibly put on. Yeah. Rob said, I don't have anything right now, but I actually do have 6 cases of demo balls. I'm gonna just send them to the shop. Plug them up, punch them up, start throwing them because I wasn't throwing as much Brunswick at the time. I had 1 or 2 pieces. Punch them up, start throwing them, you find some success, check back with me, and we'll see what happens. That year goes by, I had a lot of success. And one of those balls I gave to the wife, and she shot 298 with the original Siege.
Siege, yeah, we go back to 2009 even.
Yeah, so
a long time ago.
And I come back, and he's like, well, hey, I have a advisory staff. That's the entry. At the time was the entry level. I think it was still called the same now.
I'm not sure the levels anymore, but yeah, that was kind of get your foot in the door, prove yourself.
Foot in the door, prove yourself. I got my foot in the door, and the consistency part, right? I'm just going to stay at it. The longevity of it is not once that I really want to find fault within the brand and say, it's just not working, I'm going to give it up. No, I really wanted to figure out why it wasn't working and what I could do different. Now, as anyone has seen me bowl, I'm not textbook, right? I'm a bit unorthodox. I like to say, I like to
just cue a shot so y'all can see.
I like to say I'm unorthodox, but staying with it, finding success, winning tournaments. I do roughly 30 tournaments a year, US-wide. I'm visible, I'm seen, I'm approachable. Those are all things, and now we're in a day and age of social media, right? So now the content, I don't put up as much as Charles or Nick does because I usually look at what both those guys are doing and I go put up something in between, that kind of speaks to another subset of viewers who may want to see just a specific thing. And if I can go do it, I'll go do it. But what I'm doing is visible. I'm visible, and you have to be seen. So if you're not working on your craft, trying to win a tournament, beat some of the best guys out there, if you're not in the local community advocating for the brand, whichever brand that may be, you have to be seen. No one sees you. No one's going to want to extend the hand to you. So 12 years has been nothing but, what do you need me to do? Okay, great. I'll fit in where I can fit in. I'll shoot what I can shoot. I'll show up to whatever demo. I've showed up to help the youth tournament a bunch of times throughout the years in Dallas. Demo days, all of that stuff. What do you need me to do?
That's how it is. And that's the thing. Is just volunteering yourself to help the brands. When they're in town doing demos, events, whatever. Hey, give me grab that case? Let me unload that truck. Let's help you load it back up. I mean, that's all huge. It's like, I did that. I volunteered help at the Mini before I was ever hired with Brunswick. I come out there for a few days, stayed with Robert Lawrence, and just helped, everything in the room. Back then, it was like we had, cases and pallets of bowling balls, and we're drilling on multiple presses, getting people fit up if they needed to get fitted, which most often not, or we would just lay out balls and get them in the press. But it's just like offering yourself to the brand and making yourself available, staying positive. And going back to social media is like not only being visible, but being visible in a positive way. Because a lot of the things you do and say can often be detrimental to being on staff or trying to get on staff by something you might have said that could offend somebody.
Yeah.
It's just not tactful.
Yeah, and we are in this age of transparency, and skeletons do not live in your closet anymore. So, again, political and all of that good stuff, everybody has their opinions and views. Like, there's just a way to go about saying that in a public format to be respectful. But yeah, man, that was a lot. So these staff guys are these, both of these gentlemen have worked with this great company. And again, I do believe the other companies are good as well, right? I'm going to say that, right? I am here for everything.
He's a man of the people.
Yeah. So, but this was really cool, man. And hopefully I'll throw a couple shots in here of some things that we were able to show you about the facility. I'll do a 360 towards the end. If you stayed this long, much appreciated. And yeah, man, I think one last question I have written on here is, what is your greatest bowling memory?
My greatest bowling memory?
Yeah, man, that can be anywhere.
Oh, man.
I mean, getting a job in bowling for the first time, the pro shop.
I mean, it's got to go back to the first time you realize you love bowling, right? So when I was a little tot, 4 or 5 years old, I had family in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And every time we'd visit my aunts, we'd go to Sam's Town. And that was where, my grandma liked to play video poker or whatever, and they just dumped us off in the bowling alley, gave us a few silver dollars, and said, go bowl some. And I always remember the smell of the place. Like the place just smelled kind of like, a bowling alley and kind of cigarettes at the time.
It's the carpet. It was the carpet.
Was it carpet?
Yeah.
So fast forward, I love bowling. I bowled all my life.
Okay.
But I didn't bowl at Sam's Town again until probably a junior tournament, like one of the, when the tournaments used to come there in December. And we bowled this eliminator. I think it was, we bowled 4 games and we dropped the lowest one. I walked into the center and the smell was exactly the same. I was brought back to like 1985. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember. I was so pumped. And it's just, fall in love with bowling. When you go bowl Saturday morning with juniors and you're so excited to go to bed Friday night, you just can't sleep. It's like Christmas the next morning. That's how I felt. And that's probably the best bowling memory. It's just being so hyped about bowling and getting to move the ball.
And awesome. A lot of good stuff there. And I appreciate your time, man. Setting this time aside for us. And we was able to get a lot done, man. I hope this might be the conclusion. So I think every other video might be out.
Yeah.
But I want to give you guys ask some deeper questions and, just give everybody a little bit of a different feel for Mr. Nick Smith.
I'm here for it.
Mr. Nick Smith. So, man, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Close it out.
BrunsNick. Get over to BrunsNick. Go subscribe. Subscribe to the hype. Grab the merch. Again, he has his merch too. Takes Inside Bowling. Go check him out. That's all we got.
Thanks for the interview. I'm my first interview in the world.
Hey, man, it won't be the last. It won't be the last. It won't be the last. Wow.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.